Everybody knows that the applicant is over here, right? This building?
We do now.
Now you do, all right. Vinny, I'm ready when,
Yeah, you're ready to go. Just turn the microphones on. I didn't turn them on for you, so
okay.
we are live. So whenever you're ready.
Good evening, it is May 4th, 2025. Welcome to the Town of Carmel Town Board. Tonight's meeting is a voting meeting. We're up at the Carmel Volunteer Fire Department. I want to thank the fire department and all their members for hosting us here. And we have a presentation before the meeting from the Carmel Central School District about their budget. So everyone, please rise, face the flag for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's take a moment of silence to remember all the men and women who bravely fought to defend this country and all our first responders who are putting on their uniforms every day to make sure we're safe.
Kearns. Councilwoman McDonough. Councilman Lombardi. Supervisor Cazzari.
Here. So first up, it's my pleasure to introduce Ken Silver. He is the deputy superintendent from the Carmel Central School District. He has a short presentation about their budget.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. It's assistant superintendent, not deputy.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you very much for that. And before I start, I just want to acknowledge our board president, Melissa Orser, is here with us, just to be supportive in our efforts to help our children. So what you have in front of you is a presentation that we are using at various locations within the Carmel schools. And we're trying to have people understand what we're doing, what we've done, and what this looks like in terms of taxes and our spending for next school year. Can everybody hear me okay, am I guess so. So if you have that handout in front of you, I just want to point out our mission and vision. Our mission is to help children to be lifelong learners, not just to be in school learning, but to be able to learn throughout their lives. And we want to try to provide opportunities for everybody who lives in the Carmel School District so that they can achieve in their own lives in their own way. The next page is our Budget Advisory Committee. We had some 28 meetings with community members and administrators to help everybody to understand where we are, where we were. The next page, how do we get from there to here? If you're familiar with the Carmel schools and the issues from a year ago, you may know that there was a great deal of anxiety having to do with a perceived lack of funds, that we were not doing well, and once that was straightened out, we ended up with almost $6 million left over at the end of last year. Most of that was from underspending and a large interest income that we hadn't planned on, and state aid that was not known at the time that the budget was constructed a year ago. So there were a lot of factors that caused that, but we are in very good shape now. On the next page, if you can see where it says percentage and it says 0.74%, that's what our tax increase will be for next year if the public approves our budget. That is the lowest tax increase of any school district that reported in the surveys that took place during the past 3 months. The nearest one is Pocantico, if you know the Pocantico schools. They're at 1%. Nobody else is anywhere near us in terms of tax increases of those that reported. So the cost of inflation right now, we're estimating is 2.95%. Our taxes are going up 0.74%. That's less than 3/4 of 1% increase. Some of the factors, I'm on the next page, some of the factors in our budget have to do with union contracts, and we're estimating a 2% increase in all of our union contracts. We are trying to right the ship. Some of the budget items were understated, some were overstated, and we feel now, through 3 months of the board and the community being involved in our budget efforts, that we have righted the ship and that we're doing very, very well financially. On the next page, there's something called a tax cap. Tax cap is the maximum that you're allowed to increase taxes in a given year. Our tax cap is 3.06%. We are increasing our taxes, or asking the public to approve tax increase for a quarter of that, 0.74. And so we consider that to be very good. We actually could have gone to $150 million in our budget. That's in the middle of that page. But instead, we're going to $147 million, which is a 3.9% increase in the budget itself. But the taxes are much lower than that, and a good part of that is purchasing, from good contract management, and from state aid that we expect to go up next year. On the next page, you can see our revenue sources. Our state aid is $41 million, and our taxes will be $102 million. That's, again, 3/4 of 1% increase in tax. And then we have something on the bottom of that page called restricted reserves. This is money the board has put away through the years to be used for particular purposes. Most of this is going to be used next year for capital projects, for major improvement projects like bleachers, staircases, athletic fields. And these reserves are specific for that purpose, and they can only be used by the public voting for these type of capital projects within the budget. I'm on the next page, contingency budget. If the budget is defeated, the board has the option of having another budget vote, which would be in June. If that's defeated, then there would be what's called a contingency budget. What happens in a contingency budget is that all equipment is gone. We were planning to purchase and lease a number of new buses next year. We have 100 buses. Some of them are as much as 17 years old, and they need to be replaced. If we had a contingency budget, we would not be able to buy any equipment of any kind. We would not be able to do any capital projects, meaning major repairs. We would be able to only do the basics of educating the children. On the next page, safety and security. We recognize that our Carmel, George Fisher Middle School, Carmel Middle School, is in need of a change in the way it's operating. And so we are having a dean next year for discipline. We have SROs, those are uniformed police officers that are in the school, and there's 2 of them in the middle school. There'll be 2 of them in the high school and 1 at each of the elementary schools, although the elementary schools are retired police officers. They have a little bit different designation. We also are putting in another secretary at the middle school because people are trying to call and they're not answering the phones. So we're trying to do a better job with communicating with the parents. We're putting monitors on the buses for the middle school kids to help with our behavior problems. We're putting more cafeteria monitors, more safety monitors at the bathrooms. The middle school is a major concern and project of the board and the school district to try to make things better for the kids and safer for the kids. Things on the bottom of that page have to do with repairs that we're talking about making. We're also planning to have some permanent substitutes in the building so that when a teacher is out, the kids will already know the person who is going to be the teacher in the classroom, and that helps with our discipline as well. In instruction, I'm on the next page, instruction. We have a dual language program at 2 of our schools. We started universal pre-K. This year in January. You may know that when children go to kindergarten without having a pre-K program, they typically are 2 years behind when they get to kindergarten. This will stop that slide, and this will enable kids to do better through the years, because if they have disabilities, we can catch them at 3 years old, we can catch them at 4 years old, and remediate those disabilities before it goes into the higher grades, and you end up having a kid who's classified needing special services all the way through 12th grade when it's possible to stop it through intervention in earlier ages. We are doing professional development. We're making a big push on professional development for our staff next year to be able to think about new ways of doing things and collaborating together in professional environment. On the next page, direct impact on students. We're increasing our STEAM program, that's science, technology, arts, math. We're increasing field trips. We have found that although we've been providing money for field trips, the teachers aren't taking the kids on field trips. And now we're encouraging that. And we are going to pay for more of the expense of the field trips and have the families pay for less. And so we've budgeted a lot more for that. We've also budgeted a lot more for supplies and uniforms for the athletic teams. We're making sure that the athletic teams there is parity with the boys and the girls. So if the boys get new uniforms, so do the girls. If the boys get an improvement in the fields, so do the girls, so that things are equal for them. Before I take any questions you may have, am I okay on time? Talking as fast as I can. We could have taxed $2 million more than we did tax by state law and what the computation was. But the board insisted that we have the lowest possible tax increase that we could. Last year there was no tax increase, and this year the board agreed that there should be a small tax increase, and that's what we did. The cost of a child in this area is about $33,000 to $36,000. It's about double anywhere else in the country, and much more in this area than it is in other parts of New York State. And part of that is salaries, part of that is construction, renovation, labor costs are more for anything we do, benefit costs are more, health insurance costs more. In this area, it just costs more. And finally, I want to point out two things. There are two measures of stress in the school district. One is called fiscal stress. That has to do with, do you have enough cash? Can you pay on time? Do teachers stay? Things like that. Our fiscal stress score is 0, meaning 0 is the best. And the Carmel schools have the best fiscal stress score that you can have. Then there's something else called environmental stress. That's things like a big population of English language learners. That it causes a stress within the population. Then there is student-teacher ratio. That causes stress. Then there's budget support by the community. So if a budget is defeated, then the next year when it's passed, you still have a defeated budget on the record that is kept. And so we are what's called susceptible to stress. We are the very lowest, but we're not 0. And we are working to try to improve that through English language programs, through teacher retention, programs for the kids. And so we feel we're doing as much as we can. No, we're never doing as much as we can. We're trying to do the best we can, and we always take suggestions. Do I have a moment for questions anybody might ask, Supervisor? Okay. Yes, all of this is on the website. Yes, sir. Well, I assume that means I did a good job since nobody's asking anything. Okay. Thank you all so much.
I actually had, so I just had one quick question. Thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful. On the website, do you guys have the line-by-line item so that
Yes, the line-by-line budget is on the website.
And they can compare it or?
You certainly can. It shows last year, what we expect to spend this year, next year, the differences, and also there is a description line by line of everything that's in the budget. It's not the way things used to be. It's very clear and understandable and with clarity for what you want to look at.
Perfect, thank you.
Sure.
Actually,
It's 21 pages long in case you have nothing to do.
I actually had a, you raised your hand?
And over last 7-8 years, number of students is going
So I would hardly say that the education is mediocre in the Carmel schools. Sir, I'm speaking now. We have a 95% or 96% graduation rate, which is as high as any around. Sir, just wait. And there is more emphasis on children with disabilities. We have over 20% of our kids have disabilities and are classified and need special help. When you have that situation, you have maybe 6 kids in a class. And so as you increase you're finding these children that need special help, it increases the staff because in some cases you have a teacher and 2 assistant teachers in the classroom or aides to help these kids. So if you have a classroom with only 6 kids, that's a third or a quarter of the size of a regular classroom. In terms of decline in enrollment, everybody's enrollment is declining. That's nothing special. And we try to cope with that by trying to get kids to come back from private and parochial schools. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. We try to offer the best education possible. We have lots of AP courses, lots of specialized courses, and I would invite you to come talk to me in my office if you would like to hear more, sir.
Thank you. I have a quick question.
Sure.
I just want to applaud you and your board for presenting a budget under 1%. I know you guys had a lot of distress the last couple of years, and you guys really took the taxpayers' interest at heart and did everything you guys can to present, I think, a very well thought budget. I just had a question. What is social emotional curriculum?
That is to help the whole child. So you're not just talking about something from a textbook. You're talking about dealing with the child on a social level, where children frequently come to school with such difficult problems that they're unable to cope with some of the schools. Sometimes there's a lack of socialization when a child gets to school age. That is being remediated by having pre-K programs. So it's looking at the whole child.
Okay. Yeah, is it counsel?
So is it counseling?
No, it's a school program.
So it's like an inclusion class almost?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So if the board, if somebody would make a motion to accept the minutes from April 2nd,
So moved.
Second?
seconded by McDonough, all in favor?
Aye.
Our first resolution is authorizing a settlement of litigation. Councilman Lugo, could you read that for us, please?
Sure. Whereas there is currently pending in the Supreme Court, County of Putnam, State of New York, under index number 501176-2023 and 501285-2024, certain lawsuits entitled James Mills versus the Town of Carmel regarding the tax assessment for the property known and designated Town of Carmel tax map number 5115932, and whereas a proposed settlement of the litigation has been negotiated by certiorari counsel Costello and Falchetti LLP, who has recommended approval of the proposed settlement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the settlement of the aforementioned litigation as recommended, and be it further resolved that certiorari counsel Costello and Falchetti LLP hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the Town of Carmel the stipulation of settlement and corresponding consent judgment reflecting the terms of the settlement. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Next up is authorizing the advertisement for bids for the generator replacement contract C308. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Sure. Resolve the Town of Carmel engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., is hereby authorized to advertise for bids for the installation of generators at Town Hall and various water districts within the Town of Carmel. And be it further resolved that upon finalization and completion of bid specifications, the town engineer is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the town clerk, Alice Daly, which are to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Second by McDonough, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next up is a resolution authorizing the advertisement for bids for chemical supply contract C309. Resolved, the Town of Carmel engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E. is hereby authorized to advertise for bids for the supply of chemicals for the various sewer district and water district facilities within the Town of Carmel. And be it further resolved that upon the finalization and completion of the bid specifications, the town engineer is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the town clerk, Alice Daly, which are to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this as read.
Second.
Seconded by McDonough and Lombardi, and all in favor?
Aye.
Again, unanimous. Number 4 is authorizing the execution of the change order number 1 for C302, Carmel Recreation and Parks Department. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that?
Yes. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously awarded the contract for the above project to Thermodynamics Corporation, and whereas Town of Carmel Director of Recreation and Parks Nina Kalmeyer has provided proposed change order number 1 to the aforesaid contract to the Town Board for consideration and review. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Michael Cazzari to sign change order number 1 to the aforementioned contract, resulting in an overall contract price increase of $2,611.45. Said change order to be in form as attached hereto and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Minus? Oh, thank you. Seconded by Lombardi. Can we get a roll call?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 5 is making appointment to the Environmental Conservation Board of the Town of Carmel. Councilman Kearns, could you read that?
Resolved that Stephen Parada hereby appointed to the Town of Carmel Environmental Conservation Board for a year term commencing immediately and expiring on June 13, 2025. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by McDonough. A roll call, please.
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Next up is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of proposal for professional services, Carmel Water District Number 2 Supplemental Facilities Plan. Councilman Lugo, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of Water District Number 2, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby accepts the proposal of Delaware Engineering, DPC, Albany, New York, for the preparation and provision of the Supplemental Facilities Plan for the Carmel Water District Number 2 Treatment Facility, and be it further resolved that services and deliverables shall be at cost not to exceed $50,000, and be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor, Michael Cazzari, is hereby authorized to execute all documentation necessary to accept the aforesaid proposal on the terms authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Second by Kearns. Can we have a roll call again?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 7 is authorizing the signing of an intermissible agreement between the County of Westchester and the Town of Carmel Police Department for the Ricky Live Scan system. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Sure. Resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town Supervisor Michael Cazzari to sign on behalf of the Town of Carmel the intermunicipal agreement between the Town of Carmel and the County of Westchester for provision of Ricky Live Scan system criminalization information sharing services for the Town of Carmel Police Department. And that be it further resolved that said intermunicipal agreement commencing retroactively to November 1, 2024, and concluding July 31, 2029, and to be in general form and substance as attached to it hereto and made part hereof. And be it further resolved that a copy of this intermunicipal agreement is to be filed with the Town Clerk, Alice Daly, after signature by the Town Supervisor. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Kearns. Can we get a roll call again, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 8 is authorizing the signing of an intermunicipal agreement between the County of Westchester and the Town of Carmel for the use of the firing range facility, Town of Carmel Police Department. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor, Michael Cazzari, to sign on behalf of the Town of Carmel the intermunicipal agreement between the Town of Carmel and the County of Westchester for the use of the firing facility owned and operated by the County of Westchester in Valhalla, New York, for a term having commenced on August 1, 2021, and concluding July 31st, 2026, a copy of which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof, and be it further resolved that a copy of said intermunicipal agreement be filed with the Town Clerk, Alice Daly, after signature of the Town Supervisor. I offer this as read.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes.
I just want to just point, I voted yes, but I just don't recall talking about this change. Like, usually what we do is do it in a work session, talk about it all, and then we vote, and I just don't remember this. So, just
They
like,
changed the-
from now on.
They changed it, right? What was the?
Yeah, they changed
No,
it.
the agreement was already in from before, right?
The agreement was been from, I think, 2022.
Yeah, and it expires on
And
20
there's-
July 2025.
No, but they're saying that the agreement was wrong. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
we already had the agreement in place.
Right.
Westchester County wanted to modify for us to continue using the facility. Okay, and the chief asked for it to be put on. He had a 3-week break between meetings, and he asked for it to be put on, and it got on the agenda.
So just moving forward, let's just make sure, like, we talk about it before.
Yes.
Thank you.
So number 9 is declaring certain equipment obsolete and authorizing its disposal. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that?
Oh, my God, I hope I don't have to read all these.
No, you just have
numbers.
to say
Good.
pre-filed.
Resolved, yeah, that upon the recommendation of Town Supervisor Michael Cazzari, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby declares the following equipment to be obsolete and authorizes their disposal in accordance with town law, including but not limited to Town Law Section 64-2-A. And then there's a whole list as pre-filed in the town clerk's office. We'd be here until tomorrow.
Second.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi? Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 10 is a resolution making secret determination in regard to the proposed local law number 2 of 2025. Councilman Kearns, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby determines that proposed local law number 2 of 2025, amending Chapter 55 of the Town Code entitled Boats, Waterways, and Water-Related Activities is a Type 2 action under seeker and no further review is necessary. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
I think we do all in favor. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, for number 11, before we read the resolution, the Director of Recreation and Parks, Dina Kalmar, would you get up and speak to this
Well,
resolution?
I'm confused why this is happening. Why is she speaking? Isn't that,
Well, the same like we have the police chief come up.
yeah, at work sessions
No, at the town board meetings, the chief comes up and speaks about,
before we vote on stuff? I mean, there's been work sessions before. I'm not confused. Okay.
All right. Well, good evening, Town Board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Recreation Department and to present the candidate that I am recommending for the Recreation Leader position. Before discussing the position, I think it's important to provide a little background on the Recreation and Parks Department so you and the community have an idea of what we do and what happens behind the scenes. I've been working for the Town of Carmel for the past 9 years, and I will reach my 10-year mark in June of 2025. Over these years, I've had the pleasure of working alongside Jim Gilchrist, the former director, many full-time and part-time staff members, as well as countless volunteers who help us run programs and events in the community. We have been incredibly fortunate to have the support of these amazing volunteer organizations because without them, we wouldn't be able to run half of the programs that we offer. Historically, the Recreation Department has been understaffed, and I believe that it is my duty as the Director of Recreation and Parks to bring our staffing up to par with other municipalities. This will allow us to provide the residents of Carmel with the best recreation experience possible while also giving our current staff a break to prevent burnout and time with their families. The Town of Carmel and Parks Department oversees 9 parks within our system in Carmel and Mayapack. We have 7 full-time staff members, including 2 recreation professionals, the Director of Recreation and the Recreation Supervisor, 1 account clerk, 1 principal office assistant, and 3 maintenance workers who are all at the same level. In addition to our full-time staff, we do hire part-time employees who work as instructors and assist with events and maintenance, as well as seasonal employees for the summer when we run our summer camp and waterfront programs. Unfortunately, the part-timers don't always stay as long as we'd like due to their pursuit of full-time work, which leads to high turnover rate and constant training. This diverts time away from the residents and limits our ability to offer more recreation programs. As a department, we take pride in all the events and programs that we offer. If you haven't received our biannual brochure detailing our programs, events, offerings, and facilities, I ask you to take some time to review this on our website. To give you an idea of what our small department can accomplish for the community, here are some of the activities that we provide. Some of the major events that we put on with our small staff includes Harvest Fest, Nightmare Circus, Egg Hunt, Sunset Concert Series, the Fall Concert Series, our bi-monthly farmers market that runs every other Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. from May to October. We run a summer camp at Sycamore Park, which offers an affordable option for the town of Carmel residents. In 2025, we have 307 campers that range from the age of entering kindergarten into 8th grade, and we have a wait list of over 65 people. Camp sold out within 2 minutes this year. We brought in over $250,000 in revenue just from our summer camp program. We also offer a waterfront at Sycamore Park. Some of our small-scale programs include fishing clinics, trail walks, inclusive socials, and the list goes on. On top of events, we offer daily programs at Sycamore Park and at other facilities for individuals of all ages, from infants to senior citizens. These classes include socialization classes for toddlers, yoga for adults, adult basketball, indoor pickleball, and the inclusive friend zone. Alongside these programs, we oversee the 9 parks within our system, which, as I said before, is supported by 3 full-time maintenance employees who work Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. To give you an idea of the amount of overtime we are working to manage all of this, here's a breakdown since April 28th for our recreation supervisor. She worked 55 hours of straight time and 25 hours of overtime. You might wonder how we managed to accomplish all of this. It's because we truly care about this community. However, in recent weeks, we've had to cancel or postpone some programs and events due to staffing shortages. We prioritize safety and excellence in our offerings, and with camp season approaching, it's crucial that we are fully staffed and prepared. In our department, we are in desperate need of additional staff to keep the department running smoothly and our programs afloat. I'm concerned that if we do not hire someone for this position, we will have to cancel programs and events. We have set a high standard for our recreation events, and if we cannot meet that standard, we will not proceed with those events. Now I really would like to just discuss the hiring process and how we got to our decision. I want to be transparent with the public regarding the hiring process for the recreation leader position within the town of Carmel and explain why we recommended Juliette Cazzari for this role. This is an entry-level position which we included in the 2025 budget alongside 2 other roles, which were an additional recreation leader and a parks foreman. The town board has decided to add 1 recreation leader for the 2025 budget. To fill this position, we reached out to Putnam County for the current recreation leader list and canvassed that list. We posted the job description for the recreation leader with detailing the requirements, which included, but were not limited to, civil service competitive class, meaning the candidates must have taken the recreation leader exam and scored within the top 3 to be considered for hiring. Preference for appointment is given to residents of the town of Carmel, experience in recreation or a similar field, and a proficiency in Canva and marketing. We advertised and posted this position internally on our social media platforms, on our website, and on all bulletin boards at Carmel Recreation. In total, 9 candidates applied for the position. We interviewed all 9, and I was impressed by the caliber of candidates seeking to work in recreation. Out of the 9 candidates, 1 stood out, Juliette Cazzari. She took the recreation leader exam in Putnam County and ranked 3rd in the list. Juliette is exceptionally qualified for this position. She holds a bachelor's degree in communications with a concentration in public relations and a minor in digital art. Juliette previously worked for us at the Carmel at the Farmers Market from May 2023 to May 2024 as a market manager, where she excelled and revitalized the market atmosphere. Juliette is positive, friendly, and never hesitates to ask questions and is always willing to go the extra mile. She is truly a team player. In her previous role, Juliette served as a videographer for a Witches Paddle video, which unexpectedly went viral, showcasing her talent. Since leaving Carmel in May 2024, she worked as the recreation leader in the town of Kent, where she manages all sports leagues, including soccer, basketball, volleyball, and t-ball. She also secured $18,000 in grant funding through Putnam County Youth Bureau to offset program costs and has introduced new programs that have allowed that department to thrive. I firmly believe that Juliette is the most qualified candidate for this position, given her test results on the recreation leader exam, her strong work ethic, her positive attitude, and her relevant work experience. Our aim is to provide as many quality events and recreational experience for all of our residents. At this point, we need someone who can seamlessly step into this role, enhance our social media and marketing presence, and truly care about our community. Juliet is the only candidate I am confident will hit the ground running with minimal training. I hope everyone can recognize that she is the right candidate for this position and that we will be able to hire her to help grow our department. To conclude, I'd like to share our mission statement. At the Town of Carmel Recreation and Parks Department, our mission is to bring people together through recreation, events, and programs that foster joy, creativity, and connection. We are committed to making recreation accessible to all while embracing the rich history and natural beauty in our town's backyard. Through engaging activities and community-driven experiences, we unite residents of all ages and backgrounds, strengthening our town through fun, service, and shared experiences. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lena.
So resolution number 11, provisional appointment, Recreation Leader, Department of Recreation and Parks. Councilman Lugo, could you read that?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby appoints Juliet Cazzari to the position and title of Recreation Leader in the Town of Carmel Department of Recreation and Parks, said appointment being at CSEA Group 4, Step 1 salary level, and on a provisional basis effective May 8th, 2025, subject to the provisions of civil service law and civil service rules and regulations. I offer this resolution as read.
We have to change that to probationary. I thought we had done that already.
Instead of provisional, be probationary.
Probationary.
So, second with the change?
Get a roll call?
Councilman Lugo?
So before I do vote on this, I just want to give the folks out here and the town board a little bit of background. I feel that we all have a pretty good relationship up here as a town board, especially myself and the town supervisor, and I believe that I have expressed my feeling towards bringing in family and close friends to work for the town of Carmel. I own small businesses here in the town of Carmel, 3, along with my wife, and I'm a firm believer of not bringing in family and friends and mixing the two, business and pleasure, so I'm going to choose to abstain from this vote, and yeah. Abstain.
Councilman Kearns?
I'm going to have to echo what Councilman Lugo just said. I am also going to abstain from this vote.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes.
So,
Congratulations.
Okay, resolution number 12 is in support of the sharing of sales tax revenue with the town and villages of Putnam County, New York. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Sure. Whereas the Putnam County Executive and his administration have proposed renewing the previous authorized 1% county sales tax extension to the Putnam County Legislature. And whereas the county is proposing to share a portion of its sales tax revenue with the towns and villages of the county. And whereas Supervisor Cazzari, along with many other elected officials from the towns and villages in Putnam County, have met with County Executive Byrne and together have unanimously agreed to support the 1% county sales tax extension and specific sales tax sharing program. And whereas the increase and proposed mechanism for sharing sales tax as is set forth in the letter attached hereto and made part hereof, and whereas the county executive and the town and villages have asked state representatives to propose legislation extending the 1% county sales tax increase in the letter, and whereas the town of Carmel supports extending the 1% county sales tax increase, and whereas it is in the best interest of the town of Carmel to participate in the county's sales tax sharing to support infrastructure programs, projects, provide tax relief, and other essential services. Now therefore be it resolved, the town of Carmel shall take whatever action necessary to support the county extending the 1% sales tax rate, and be further resolved that the town of Carmel urges the Putnam County Legislature to call a special meeting to consider the adoption of the resolution proposed by the county executive in conjunction with the towns and villages of Putnam County, and be further resolved that that the town of Carmel shall take whatever action necessary to support and effectuate the county executive's proposed sales tax sharing, 1/9 of 1%, to be allocated to the towns, villages according to population, with an even town, with every town and village to receive a minimum of $50,000, including but not limited to passing any necessary resolutions, entering into appropriate agreements with the county with such terms as enumerated herein, and with any other set forth by the county, and any other provision of the county with the necessary information. I offer this resolution as read. And before I get a second, this is something that I've actually been speaking about in my entire term on the town board. And the reason I feel so strongly about it, and have for the past dozen years, is that the town of Carmel, which is the biggest town in Putnam County, we generate a significant amount of sales tax revenue to the county. And it is because of the work of the town of Carmel, including the highway department that paves the roads, clears them for shoveling so people can get to those businesses. The town of Carmel Police Department that keep the roads safe so people can go to those businesses and support our local business here in town, our planning board, our zoning board, and the work that our town government does, that we should be getting a portion of that sales tax revenue. Now, I've argued that it should not necessarily be just, here's a blank check, do whatever you want with it. It should go towards what we've talked about many, many times with the county executive. It should go towards infrastructure, because that infrastructure and improvement in infrastructure will then generate additional sales tax revenue to the county, and that's what we're here to do. So it all circles back to us. So because we're the biggest town by population, we would get significantly more than the $50,000, and I'm suggesting that that check go directly to the town of Carmel Highway Department's coffers so they can continue to pave the roads, improve the great work that they're doing already, but they're limited by the expenses associated. When oil goes up, the blacktop goes up, right, Mike? And I don't know how many roads you're planning on paving this year. How many actual roads? How many, the length of road? Length, 8.5 miles. If we had more money, he could do 9.5 miles. He can do 10 miles. He can, improve guardrails. There's a lot that can be done with this money that we in the town of Carmel are helping the county generate. So I am greatly in favor of this, and I hope that the rest of the town board is as well. And I suggest to everybody here and to everybody listening, we have 4 county legislatures that touch the town of Carmel. Contact them via email, telephone. This is something long, long overdue. When you drive down the roads, and I don't mean to go on and on, but when you drive down the roads and you see potholes in the streets, you're either dealing with a town road, which we can control, a state road, which we have to beg, borrow, and steal for them to improve, or a county road, which you better start working on getting them done. So those are the 3 roads that we have here in town, and in order to improve those roads, we need this money to improve our infrastructure. So,
I second.
Second.
I second that.
hopefully that's right.
All in favor?
Absolutely. Aye.
Unanimous. And no offense to Highway, but this money could be anywhere from $500,000 to $900,000. And if you look at all of the bills that we have, not just the lead, which was $900,000 worth of taxpayer funds, and the PFOAs, which so far we spent about $300,000, but the sewer and the water infrastructure, the sidewalks that we need, all of these things are important, and there are mandates from the state, but there is no funding for it. So
This will certainly help.
thank you, County Executive, for supporting. This is unheard of. I don't think that ever before, Democrat, Republican, all the villages, all the towns, not since there was a Board of Supervisors, which maybe that's what we need, and not a legislature if they don't listen to the people. Our next resolution is amending the procurement policy. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby amends a procurement policy which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, and designates the town controller to distribute the policy to all department heads, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby designates the responsible purchasing agent and titles as set forth within the aforesaid policy. This is adding our assessor, Chris Palio, because Scott McMillan has retired, so he needs to be added to this. I offer this as read.
Second.
Seconded by Kearns and McDonough, and I think all in favor.
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Number 14 is a resolution accepting a proposal and authorizing award of the bid for Blacktop Town of Carmel Highway Department.
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Stern, hereby authorizes the award of bid for bituminous concrete, is that good?
Very good.
Close. FOB for the period of May 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2026, with a Peckham Materials Corporation, Brewster, New York, and Thale Industries, Inc., Brewster, New York, under Putnam County bid number RFB 0825. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Kearns. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilman McDonough? Yes. Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. And number 15 is resolution declaring water emergency pursuant to section 151-22 of the Town Code. Councilman Kearns, could you read that?
Whereas that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has been advised by Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, as well as B&J Plumbing, operator for Carmel Water Districts 1, 8, 10, and 13, that a water emergency exists within the aforesaid water districts. Now therefore be resolved that pursuant to section 151-22, subsection A of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel, the Town Board acting as commissioners of the Carmel Water Districts number 1, 8, 10, and 13, hereby declares a water emergency with respect to and within Carmel Water District number 1, 8, 10, and 13. And be it further resolved that pursuant to Town Code 151-22B, during the period of said emergency as declared herein, the use of water for any of the following non-essential purposes as enumerated in section 151-22, subsection C, shall be prohibited. And then there's a list as pre-filed with the town clerk. And it's posted everywhere. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed to publish this resolution in the official newspapers of the town and to post said resolution on the official bulletin board of the town. So before we vote, I had a conversation today because I actually received several phone calls regarding this water emergency. So we're going to be rehabbing one of the tanks on Crest Road. Right now we have a temporary pneumatic tank, I believe, at Lakeview, correct? The pneumatic tank, its main purpose is to maintain the pressure, but it doesn't maintain the volume. So this water emergency is just asking people who live in those districts to be mindful of their water consumption, not washing their cars, watering their gardens. Again, you can find this list posted, I think it's in the paper and then on our website as well. So, offer this resolution as read.
Second.
We got a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Thank you. So residents' comments, 5 minutes.
That better? All right. I won't bore you with the first part of what I said. Hopefully you guys were able to hear some of that. But just a thank you to the town board for supporting this. As a resident here, this is something that's obviously been very important to me. I've been in the Putnam County Legislature since February with the town supervisor, Supervisor Cazzari a few times, Supervisor Jackie Anabi from Putnam Valley, advocating for exactly this. I commend County Executive Kevin Byrne for working with the supervisors to get this done, and I'm very grateful to see that my town here in Carmel is going to be a part of that and making it happen. So to every single one of you, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming up. Oh, sure.
So
But this isn't like the time you did the
No.
budget thing.
this is going to be much briefer. I'm not here. I was at another event this evening, and then I was reminded that you're doing this. You do it remote at least once a year over in Carmel, and it's a place that's very special to me. I went to Carmel High School. I was in the school district where I grew up, and I'm here as a Carmel resident more than anything else because I want to thank you. This town board really did help jumpstart this discussion in a way that none other did. I know Supervisor Nabi really did lead on this. We've talked about this for decades. This was a unique opportunity that opened up, but really you passed a resolution that may have been a little bit different than what you passed tonight, but it really did jumpstart that discussion. And what we have before us is really an historic opportunity. I care about Secor Road that's down the street from where I live over in Mahopac now, or Mahopac, right? But I also care about the local roads. And the arguments for sales tax and revenue sharing are much stronger today than they were 20 years ago. Our county sales tax rate is competitive with the vast majority of counties across the state of New York. We have been benefiting from the Wayfair U.S. Supreme Court decision that has allowed us to collect sales tax from online sales. So when you see Amazon drop off packages, because my wife likes to shop on Amazon, they're using your local roads, your local infrastructure. So you guys are bearing the brunt, the cost of economic development, and I believe that you should be receiving the benefit of a modest share of that sales tax revenue. In addition, just in case folks didn't have the update, the Assembly and the Senate have matching legislation. It was introduced by our Assemblyman and our Senator, Assemblyman Matt Slater, Senator Peter Harcum, and it is sponsored by Senator Rob Rollison and Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg. Why is that important? Because countywide, we have 4 members to this New York State delegation. That is all 4 of them. Nobody else in the New York State legislature can put in a bill like this. So they are all seemingly on board and have responded to the request from the supervisors, and I think this makes their decision and the decision of other policymakers a lot easier. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Limit that we have to get this done by?
So just based on my personal experience as a recovering state legislator in Albany, they shrunk the session down. It's really, I think June 12th is the last day. But that means they gavel out, they're done. And they're not going to call an extraordinary or special session for something like this. It really needs to be a real emergency. And when you get closer to the end, now we're at a point like it's several weeks away, it might get on the calendar, but there's no guarantee they'll actually pass it. So it's one of those things where typically they have an internal deadline of you can't put in a new bill by mid-May. So we're really approaching a deadline there. But even if you got that done and somehow you could get a miracle bill put in at the end of May, there's no promises that even if it gets on the agenda, on the calendar, that it'll even get a vote. So really you're racing against the clock because you're competing with priorities with every other state legislator. There's 63 state senators, 150 state assembly members. That's 213 state lawmakers with their own priorities that you're competing against. And right now they're busy. They're voting on the state budget. I think they're doing it today. I know they announced the deal, but they're still voting on it. So time is short. So for them to pass it, our county needs to pass what's referred to as a home rule resolution. And that's what your resolution is basically supporting. It's asking them to do that, and it will enable our state lawmakers to pass the bill that they introduced.
And I'm sorry, I know we said we can keep this short, but this is obviously an important subject. Can you explain to everybody what happens if we don't meet that timeline?
Well, if we don't help our state lawmakers, quite frankly, help the towns the way they've been helping the county for the last 18 years, and they don't provide enabling legislation to extend the current rate, it would then default to 3%. So your total sales tax in Putnam County is 8.375. 4% of that is the state sales tax. There's an MTA surcharge of 0.375. The other portion is 4% county sales tax rate. The 3% we've had permission for decades, but this full 1%, we have to go back to the state legislature to get permission every couple of years. If they don't get to pass a bill, it would then revert to 3%, which would sacrifice 25% of all the sales tax revenue this county receives, which equates to over $20 million. So it would be a very big problem for all of us.
Wow. So maybe it's time for them to start listening to the people they serve and get this done.
Well, I hope we can all come. It's an opportunity for
for everyone to come together. I think when you have, you were the first to pass a resolution, you're also the last, in that this one is tied to the conceptual framework that was agreed to. We now, I can say with a straight face, every single town and village in Putnam County has passed a resolution supporting this compromise unanimously. I mean, every town board member, every council member, trustee member in a village voted for it. The only town that you could maybe parse was Kent, because one abstained because he works for the county, which is perfectly reasonable, but not a single dissenting vote at any town or village. So I hope that speaks as a reflection of Putnam County.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kevin.
guys.
So I think people at home should know also the leadership of the county executive, not that I'm somebody who wants to talk about things, but this is bipartisan in Albany and bipartisan in Putnam, and that's because our county executive was able to pull all these people together. So
To me, it just
thank you for
boggles
doing
It
that.
just boggles my mind that everybody can get on the same page except for four or five individuals.
5.
I hope that's not permanent.
Yeah.
Get it done. I mean, the goal is to get it done. I'm not looking to finger wag at anybody. We just want to get this done. It's good for the county, it's good for the town.
Thank you.
Anyone else got any public comment? Oh.
I think I already talked to you today.
Clock on? No, I won't be a minute. Dave Fafaro, Chair of the Rec Committee, and I thank Nina. I won't be near as elegant as Nina, but I think her tone is important. We're underwater at Rec. We really are. These guys are working a lot of hours. I mean, ridiculous amount of hours. You're going to lose them. I mean, I've done this in my life. You can only work so many hours a day where things start to fail. And I do appreciate you guys passing a resolution tonight, getting us some little help. And I know that wasn't an easy choice. I understand. It's not easy. It really isn't. But we also need outside help, right? We need a maintenance supervisor. We asked for that a while back. I cannot tell you how urgent that is. We are catching a tremendous amount of pressure. Every one of our rec meetings, people are showing up. They're looking for more. They want more things done. Years ago when I was young, a lot of dads went out and lined the field. They raked the fields. Those days are over, guys. We need help. We really need a maintenance supervisor. I cannot express that enough. So I don't know what the plan is here, but I just want to express the urgency to you. We are underwater.
Yeah, I actually stopped by
We're struggling. So whatever you got to do, we need to do it. We really do. We need to figure it out.
last week. I swung by and walked the fields with Timmy Sprance. I planned to stop there for 20 minutes. He had me there for 2 hours. I couldn't believe the stuff that I was seeing. I mean, the batting cages were on the ground. That you can't even use them.
Timmy's been fantastic. He
Timmy's
really is.
amazing.
He
He's
really is.
I don't know
Retired
where we
guy from
found him,
school,
but we
does-
have to do
does
everything in our
great
power to
job.
keep him.
He's good leadership. We really need a maintenance supervisor. We have
He's
some good
amazing.
people. We just need some leadership, right? We need some working leadership. So I'm almost begging you, right? You guys got to figure this out sooner than later. We can't go through this whole season.
Yeah, because he had shown me someone took a sod cutter and they started cutting sod in the outfield and they just left it. And then there was Little League or MSA games on the following day, and it was a safety concern, and they had to play with sod missing in the outfield. To me, that's unacceptable.
We're just struggling. I can't describe them. And it's not just our fields. It's everywhere, right? Our buildings. We have maintenance issues. We have issues everywhere. It's hard for us, to set up chairs at events. We're just spread so thin.
I agree.
So I can't express it enough. Somehow you need to solve this sooner than later, if you can.
I agree.
All right.
Thank you for coming out, sir.
And thanks for hiring me.
It's Mary Gebhardt. I wasn't going to speak tonight. I was actually planning to write the board a letter. I attended an open Parks and Recreation meeting, and I was amazed by what I heard, the lack of things that they need. And to make it even worse, and I'm going to pass this around, I had wanted to make copies of this. I was shopping and saw this truck. That's their maintenance truck. This man isn't saying enough. I just want to pass this around because I couldn't make copies. This is what their truck looks like. I don't know how they can get anything accomplished if they don't have the tools and the necessary
That's the green
things
truck,
that they
yeah.
need to take care of community parks. I think it's a wonderful thing to look forward to bigger parks and community events, but we have a lot of community parks for the neighborhoods, and that is extremely important. And I would urge you to please consider maintaining them and supporting the maintenance department as well as the parks department. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gephardt.
My name is Sharon Filardi. I'm a Mayapack resident. I have a special needs child, and I have been fighting with Mayapack High School when my daughter was still in there. She's out there 2 years. For inclusive programs. I almost had one before COVID, a Special Olympics. They brought some in, but it's the bare minimum. I was taking a class at Carmel Rec, and Nina was my instructor. And she openly suggested that they can do it. And it was like, so you hear all the things they're missing, but yet she was willing to take on something our own school district didn't want to take on. And we've been doing inclusive programs, and as parents too, with a lot of volunteers, but it was open arms, and it's been great to get some of these things in our town when I couldn't get them in the school. So I want to thank Nina for that, and hear all the good things that she is doing with not enough money to be doing it all. So thank you so much, and that's why I came here to support her tonight.
Thank you very much for coming out. Mr. Warnicki?
My name is Alan Warnicki, and I'm a former Town of Carmel historian and a former Putnam County historian. A number of years ago, I submitted an application for the Hillacre Historic Farm Site to go on the National Register. This has sat in limbo for many years, and recently 3 of our community leaders have taken the bull by the horns, and we have gotten the stalemate released. So my reason to be here tonight is to thank them and any others that have participated in getting this very important job done. Very important to historians, and when things are finally concluded, it will be very, very beneficial to the entire community, including financially. The 3 people that I want to recommend for thanks tonight are Councilman Robert Kearns, Councilman Mike Lugo, and Putnam County Executive Kevin Byrne. And I see they're all here tonight. So, thank you very much, and if I left anybody out that's been working behind the scenes, I thank you also.
Don't forget to mention the Rev 250.
Is what?
The Rev 250.
We have met a couple of times over the past couple of years, and one of the things that came up was what we're going to do for the 250th anniversary of our country. And I don't think any conclusions, at least as far as a program is concerned. I have been conducting a concert on July 4th. This will be the 24th year at Red Mills Historic Park. It has become quite successful in recent years, and I would like to recommend that something like that be included when we do the 250th.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Alan.
Thank you, Mr. Warnicki.
No.
Okay.
Before we forget, I would like to make a motion to adopt the local law number 2 as pre-filed that we spoke about before, boats and waterways.
Yeah, let's do it. I second that. Public hearing on last meeting.
Yes.
Just did the secret.
Yeah, we just did this, yeah.
Motion in a second.
I second it.
Roll call.
Councilman Lugo? Yes. Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. So this Saturday, at the Carmel Town Hall at 10 o'clock, Matt Slater is having his Women of Distinction ceremony. The town of Carmel has recommended Councilwoman McDonough for that.
I would doubt that very highly.
No, we did.
No, we did.
No, we did.
You did?
Yes.
I invited you.
Yes.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I told
Yes.
George, you know them. Yeah, they're-
Yes, the board actually, yes, proclamation and all, 10 o'clock
I
Saturday.
told Rob, I told everybody. I thought you knew already.
I had no idea because I
Thank God you
actually,
didn't find out 'cause I've been telling
Yeah.
everybody.
no, I know, but I actually have a baptism for
be
my
there,
little
Susan.
grandbaby.
It's at 10 o'clock in the morning.
So, 10 o'clock in the morning at Carmel Town Hall.
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday, yeah.
You can re-encart the baptism.
So, so Sunday, everybody, happy Mother's Day Sunday for all the mothers out there. We had our e-waste last Saturday. It was very successful from 9 to 12. That's that and the shredded are two big events that
The line was like around,
so much stuff. And a few people from Kent were able to slip through, just saying, because they said they live in Carmel, that they don't. So I also noticed Stokeham Avenue Bridge project. I don't know if you remember that. We were going to redo the bridge at Stokeham Avenue. We were able to get money from Congressman Lawler. If you see a large truck with what looks like drills on it, those are boring tools, and they're on Stokeham now doing the pre-construction work to evaluate where they're going to put pylons or what they're going to do. And the other important thing is Northwell Health, the _1 medical thing in New York State. So they just merged with our hospital, Nuance Health, right? Nuance Health. So Putnam Hospital is the town of Carmel. I think that Ace Indigo may be the biggest county employer, but Putnam Hospital definitely the biggest employer in the town of Carmel. It's the only hospital in the county, and thanks to the work of our senator that we spoke of before, Harcum, some other people, they raised $2 million to bring the birthing center back. So according to I spoke to some people on the I spoke to some members of the board of directors from Putnam Hospital, and they said that Northwell is going to keep Putnam Hospital, keep the birthing. They're going to put money into the hospital, so we are keeping a hospital. We're keeping all those jobs. So this is a really good thing for the town of Carmel, and I applaud Northwell Health for doing that. So that's all that I have.
They're the best.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch, this past Saturday we had our Paint the Town Purple event for Relay for Life. It was a huge success. We have our relay coming up. Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, it's June 6th? June 7th. Please come out and support. We're going to be having a Relay for Life fundraiser at Camarda Park on June 1st. It's going to be a softball tournament. We're going to have some vendors, DJ. It's going to be a great time. Again, all the money raised goes directly to Relay for Life. So if you're in the area, everyone here knows someone who's been affected by cancer. Everyone has their reasons and their why. So if you're available, come support a great organization. That's it. That's all I have.
Thanks for the farmer's market. You're welcome. They really did a nice job.
Oh yeah, and our first trail walk with Nina and Frida 2 weeks ago. That was amazing. That was a success. After following up with the Easter egg hunt, which was another success. I think we got enough people out there. The kids walked the trails with us over at Bulls Park. It was pretty cool. So I enjoyed it, and thank you again, Nina, for coming. Thank you.
Great ribeyes.
From the farmer's market.
Yeah.
The next one is the 18th.
I got the hamburgers.
Steaks were amazing. The burgers were good.
So can I get a motion to close the meeting?
Second.
And all in favor? Alice, thank you so much.
Thank you.